Thank you guys for making it to the end of the series. This won't be the final video, but this will be the final hairstyle that we'll be working with. So right now I'm trying to create a set of braids. This one is not really important. It's pretty much the typical way of creating braids, right? You create some offset using array modifier, and then you convert them into tubes, right? The usual. This one is not supposed to be too important because we won't be using this braid for the final one. This is just a technique that I want to show. Yeah, this one we'll be using for this hairstyle, right? So I've taken a nerve curves from the upward direction. I have shaped it like an S, and I have applied some thickness onto it. I've duplicated it and flipped it. Again, I'm readjusting it to the shape that I desire. Make sure that you are happy with the shape before you duplicate it along the length to get that repetitiveness that the braids have. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. So after I'm happy with the shape, I'm just duplicating it along the length to get that repetitiveness that braids have. Once I'm happy with it, I'll be deleting the older one. I'll be selecting everything. I'll be converting them into mesh. And yeah, again, I'm readjusting it, doing some micro adjustment at the front side. And I'll be selecting one of the lateral edges from every tube, separating them, and I'll be converting those edges into curves. Then I'll be adding some thickness onto them, or you can say I'll be using my hair tool, the hair tool plugin, and I'll be adding some profile onto them. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. So as you can see, I have created a new profile and I have added one of the secondary haircuts, not the primary one, because the braids are intersecting a lot, and the secondary clump will do the job just fine. Again, I'm readjusting the front side a little bit, elongating it, and then I'll be duplicating everything. And the duplicated part, I'll be using that as some stray hairs for the braids, right? Again, as you can see, I'm just readjusting it, offsetting it a little bit, adding some strays, readjusting the thickness again, and then I'll be converting these flyaways into mesh right here, and then I'll be readjusting the UVs onto a flyaway texture. Then again, I'm applying the material to see what's going on. And I'm readjusting the UVs just so that I can get some good variation around for both the main hair clump and the stray hairs. And after that, I'll be using this whole braid mesh, not bread, it's braid. Yeah, I kind of pronounced that really bad, but yeah, I'll be using this braid mesh onto a curve using my hair tools plugin. And I'll be controlling this whole mesh through a curve. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of a rewind here. I'm going to show you how to create the volume hair meshes, right? To do that, it's pretty much straightforward. What you're going to do is you're going to take a curve. In my case, I'm going to take knobs, enable the endpoints, and I guess I'm going to work with this much subdivisions. Next thing, I'm gonna go into the bevel option in here, and I'm gonna increase the depth of it, right? Next step, I'm gonna snap my 3D cursor onto the first vertex, hit W, set origin to 3D cursor, right? To make the volume mesh, you basically want to make volumes for the hair through the tubes and not via the cards, right? It's basically like sculpting hair tubes in ZBrush, but easier, right? Because you don't really need to have a move brush in here. Just do freestyle with the cards, right? So I'm gonna just show you a quick example in here. So say for example, this is my first tube, and I'm gonna make sure that the volume, the lower portion of the hair tube, touches the head, right? The contact do not need to be extremely exact. You just need it. Just hovering over the head enough, right? Maybe a little bit of intersection should work, but make sure that you do not overdo it. So just like this, right? You can go ahead and create the volume tubes of the hair. And from the volume tubes, we will be extracting the cards. So yeah, that's a small tip on creating volume tubes. Okay, since now you know how to create volume tubes, so these volume tubes that you see here are not the one that I showed in the previous clip. They are like different volume tubes, right? So the first step that I'm doing right now is to decrease the poly count of it. Then I'm extracting all the lateral edges from them, and I'm moving them to a separate layer object, right? And what I'm doing right now is deleting every edges that are hidden underneath the head. And soon enough you'll see that I'll be using these edges in order to create the primary section of the hair guard. Alright, so I'll be demonstrating a little bit of troubleshooting in here. So as you will see, I've selected all the hair curves, then I have separated all of them, and then I'll be selecting all of them, then converting them to curves. Then with all of them selected, hit tab and turn them into nerves, right? So nerves do not really have endpoint attached. To fix that, select the first curve and enable endpoints. And while the first curve activated, select all the other curves, go to the endpoint tick mark and hit copy to select it. And that way all the other hair curves are going to be extended up to the endpoint. Okay, so for the next step, I'll be joining all of them curves into one single object. And I'm doing some manual readjustments right now so that I can give some gap between the curves that are too close to each other. Next, I'll be selecting some of the curves on random and I'll be separating them. The reason why I'm doing this is because since I have a different set of clumps for different variations of clumps for the primary layer, I want them to apply to different set of curves, right? So that I can get some good variations. So here you can see the first set of clump, I have applied it to the first set of curves, right? Again, readjusting, realigning them. I'm doing the same thing with the second set of curves, applying a different set of clumps in there for the variations. The same with the third one. And again, I'm readjusting them, realigning them to the head. And as you can see, now I have unhidden everything and I have got like really cool variations in there. And this is just the primary layer. We aren't even started with the secondary and the tertiary. So now I'm selecting the roots and the tips and rescaling them. You hit Alt S on the keyboard to rescale a curve point. So yeah, I'm rescaling them just to get some of that tapering going on in there. Again, I'm readjusting the thickness. Since I have done the first side of the hairs, I'll not be bothering restarting it again on the other side, I'll just be mirroring it. When I say mirroring, I'm really duplicating the cards and scaling it on a negative axis, because if you use mirror modifier on curves, you have to convert them into meshes to apply the mirror modifier, which I do not want. And also using curves, it's gonna allow me to break that symmetry a little bit easier. So now I'm selecting hair cards on random, the clumps of the curves, or you can say random curves sets, and duplicating them, and I'll be doing the same method to get the secondary hair cards. So as you can see, I have used a secondary clump profile on the duplicated hair cards. Again, I'm using the same adjustment techniques, realigning them and readjusting the thickness. So yeah, these will be my secondary hair cards. Again, I'm just manually readjusting them just to break that symmetry. So yeah, that's basically the whole process, right? You might have to readjust the hair clumps a little bit inside of the mesh. So yeah, this is what I'm doing right now, right? So I'm just dragging in, or you can say dragging out the secondary hair clump just to give it a little bit of offset from the primary layer. And you can see we are getting some great layering within the hairs. So again, I'm just going to select some of these cards at random, duplicate them, and use a tertiary, or let's say a flyaway hair texture, right, to get some more variation and some more depth onto the hairs. Again, I'm just readjusting the profile itself. Yeah, there you can see me selecting some cards at random, and I guess these will be the flyaway hair cards. So yeah, I'm applying the flyaway profile to it, and yeah, there you can see that we have also got the flyaway or the stray hair cards in there. So yeah, that's basically the process. I'll be repeating the same thing for underneath the hair cards. I mean the hair cards that are underneath the ears, right? This is just the top area that we completed. Again, I'm doing the same techniques, using tubes, getting the primary hair cards done, then extracting the secondary hair cards from them, and then the tertiary. Like you can see, I'm placing the hair volume tubes in here. I'm also drawing up with my annotations pencil, just so that I can get the outline onto where I want the curves to snap. Sorry, I want the tubes to snap. You can see I'm doing a little bit intersections of the tube with the braids. That's gonna give me a little bit sense of blend, right? The hair cards getting blended into the what do you call it, into the braid. Yeah, again readjusting the thickness of the tube. So yeah, that's basically the whole process. I'm gonna repeat it a few more times till I'm done with the hairs that are underneath the braids. So we are almost done with the upper hairs and the lower hairs, and now it's time to start off with the bun. So again, I'm using the spear. Like I said in the first video itself, this kind of technique is mostly focused on creating the volumes first and then extracting hair cards from them, and that's what we've been doing since the beginning of this video. Same thing we're going to do for the bun. Like I have created a spear and I'll be just readjusting it to the desired size and the desired shape that I want for the bun. And here you can see me doing just that. Again, I've reduced the size and now I'm satisfied with it. I'm just gonna extract the lateral curves, if you will, and not the lateral curves but the lateral edges. Separated them, and I'm gonna convert the edges into curves, and I'll be again separating them curves and reassigning some primary hair cards, or you can say primary hair profiles, to them. The rest of the process remains the same, just duplicating the hair curves, right, and converting them into cards, assigning some secondary hair profile to it, again duplicating some random curves, again reassigning some tertiary profile to it, reshaping them, readjusting them to the desired amount. And here you can see me doing just that. So I've taken some primary hair clumps, assigned them to the set of a curve, reshaping and readjusting them, again taking primary hair clumps, reassigning them to the second set of the curve. The same thing I'm going to do for the third set. Also, notice that I still haven't deleted the main spear. The reason being that I'll be using that spear as a parent object to realign the tilt of the curve. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically the whole guide, guys. Just taking a volume, converting them into hair cards, duplicating, doing the same with the secondary shapes, and doing the same with the tertiary shapes, right? So yeah, I'll be signing out now, and enjoy the rest of the video. Peace out.